If you're someone who fell on your wrist and you think you have something wrong with your wrist, or specifically, hey, I fell on my wrist and I have a scaphoid injury or scaphoid fracture, this video is going to be for you. My name is Huang. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist, and I've been getting a lot of questions about scaphoid types of injuries. I just want to share a little bit of my perspective, because scaphoid injuries, scaphoid fractures, they are not to be played with. The scaphoid bone very specifically sits in your wrist. We have two rows of what we call carpal bones. They're wrist bones. They're very small, and the scaphoid sits right here. It sits right underneath the thumb. It is one of the hardest bones in your body to heal, and one of the reasons why is because in a very particular part of that bone, it does not have very good blood supply. Anything that does not have good blood supply does not heal well. And so sometimes you fall and you think, oh, it's nothing, it's just a sprain. Let me just rest it, put on a splint, and call it a day. Maybe you fell and you went to the emergency room and they take X-rays and they say, oh, well, we don't really see a fracture. Let me just put you in a wrist support splint. Just stop the wrist from moving a little bit just to let the pain calm down. But you still have pain. Well, you could have a scaphoid fracture. Scaphoid fractures are not to be played with. If you did break it, you want to make sure you're going and getting treatment right away. So again, this video is just for educational purposes alone. Not every video is going to have me showing you exercises, okay? Sorry, but sometimes we don't need to be exercising right away. I want to share with you some of the things I've seen. I've seen people who do really well after a scaphoid fracture and have absolutely no problems. I've seen people have scaphoid fractures that are misdiagnosed and ignored for years and end up with severe wrist problems for the rest of their life. So if you fall and you think you have a scaphoid fracture, or you were already told you had one, don't ignore it, get professional help. But sometimes it can be missed at the beginning. And the reason why it's not necessarily because the doctor was bad or anything like that, it's just that for whatever reason, right, fractures to that particular bone doesn't show up for a few days. So this happened to a friend of mine who actually is a physical therapist. She fell and she injured her wrist and thought it was just a sprain. Went to the emergency room. They put her with a wrist support splint and left her thumb open. And she continued to have a lot of thumb pain. And that's usually one of the indicators, like, oh, my thumb still hurts so much. The whole point of wearing the splint is for your pain to subside so that you can start to move again, all right? Now, usually when you go to the emergency room, their job is to stop the bleeding, give you immediate care, and they usually always tell you go follow up with an orthopedic hand surgeon. Sometimes people ignore it. It's a really great idea to follow up with the orthopedic hand surgeon. And the reason why is because when you go a few days later, it's the best time to see if you do have a scaphoid fracture. So number one, if you're wearing that splint, it might take a few days to get in with a hand surgeon, right? And you start noticing, oh, my thumb hurts a lot. Tell your doctor that, because that's usually one of the signs that it's the scaphoid bone and not just like, oh, you have a sprain. So if they suspect that you have a scaphoid fracture, they'll do another set of x-rays to rule it in or rule it out. Like, hey, if nothing else is broken, you still have a lot of pain, you can't really move your wrist, let's put you in a certain position and take that picture of those bones. And it's usually the scaphoid fracture isn't seen until 3 to 5 days after the initial injury, which is why it's so important for you to really listen to your body and not ignore it. Scaphoid fractures, again, don't heal really well on their own, and sometimes you can have what's called a malunion. A malunion means that it broke and then it's healed incorrectly, so that also causes a lot of pain. What happens with a scaphoid more often than a malunion is it's broken and it has a non-union, meaning it's not healing. Remember I said scaphoids, their particular bone doesn't have great blood supply, and so it's really important to make sure that you're going and getting the right help to ensure that you're not causing more damage. So some of the consequences of essentially being misdiagnosed and not taking care of the problem is one, a non-union, meaning your bone broke and we're not doing anything to actually help it heal. And when it does not heal well, you will continue with wrist pain, and then it will cause more problems along those bones called arthritis. And when you have a lot of arthritis, they call it panarthritis, just meaning you have a lot of arthritis to your wrist, and then it makes it very hard to move. You'll start to lose motion and you'll have a lot of pain, right? Another thing that happens is if I had a patient, I'll share a story. I had a patient who, when he was a teenager, broke his scaphoid, and they went and did x-rays right away, didn't see anything. And unfortunately, his family had different issues. They weren't listening to him, and he would tell them over and over, like, my wrist hurts. And they're like, oh, you're just being a baby, live with it. He came to me at the age of 30 with severe arthritis through his wrist, couldn't move it, couldn't do some of the simplest things. He ended up needing about 2 to 3 surgeries after that. He lost a lot of wrist motion, and that's a consequence of ignoring it. He didn't necessarily have a choice because he was a child and he didn't have any adults in his life to say, hey, this is serious. If you're watching this, I'm hoping that you're the adult and that you'll take care of it sooner than later. But some key signs: your thumb hurts. That bone sits right underneath your thumb. So if you're not moving your wrist, but you're moving your thumb and it hurts, usually that's something that I look at. Going to take care of it right away. If you go to an emergency room, just make sure you're going to your hand orthopedic surgeon to get a follow-up x-ray in order to make sure, like, hey, it's not the scaphoid. Usually the surgeon's looking at that too, and they're making sure based on what you tell them to do. And then the protocol, usually you have to be immobilized for a certain amount of time, and the type of splint that you're wearing isn't just to block your wrist, it's actually to block your wrist and your thumb, and it's because of that, where that bone sits. You can actually feel it. You have 2 tendons right here, and then right in that hole, we call that the snuff box. You can push into it and push into that bone, and if that part hurts, then you might have a scaphoid. We have tissues and other things going on there, so you just have to really know how to test yourself. But your hand surgeon, your hand specialist, your hand therapist will help you to make that determination. A hand therapist, if they find that, they're going to refer you to the hand surgeon. The hand surgeon is going to find that, and they're going to take the x-rays and they're going to confirm, and then they'll most likely cast you or splint you, or based on how severe it is, recommend surgery. And then you get to decide what you want to do. Usually they'll tell you what you need based on how severe it is. Everything in the hand is dependent on how severe. Some people have small injuries, small little fractures, and you can be splinted. Some people have bigger fractures, and based on where it's located, they're like, you need surgery. And then after surgery, whether you have conservative treatment, which means you're just wearing the splint for a while, or you have surgery. But remember, the theme of scaphoids is that it does not heal very well. So be patient. Usually the cast wearing time or the splint wearing time is a lot longer than just if you broke a different part of your wrist. So it might be 6 weeks. And then after that, you start your therapy. And again, because of its healing nature, it does take a while. So you have to have a little patience if you have a scaphoid fracture. Now, I worked with someone who's really young. He was actually like 18 or 19. Probably one of my best success stories, but he got help early. He was casted for 4 weeks. When they did x-rays, he did wonderful. His bone was healing well. Came to therapy, gave him some exercises, and a lot of it's just very gentle at first. You're just moving your wrist in different positions in different ways. And then based on your pain level, now he just did great because he didn't have a ton of pain. We were able to progress him, and he got full range of motion, meaning his wrist went all the way back. He could put weight through it, pushing up. And that is a great success story. All the way to someone who's really severe, didn't get the help in time. Like my patient had years and years of wrist pain without knowing he had a non-union of the scaphoid, and it caused a ton of arthritis, and he had several different surgeries. His story is successful too, in the sense that because he had to go through all those surgeries, we were able to get rid of his pain, get enough motion that he could do things without pain, but he was never able to really put weight through his wrist because we just could not get that wrist all the way back. So those are some things to consider if you suspect that you have a scaphoid fracture, or you've been told and diagnosed that you have a scaphoid fracture. Those are some things to think about. Talk talk to your surgeon, talk to your hand therapist, and decide what is the best plan of action for you, because there's a lot of things that you could do on your own. Scaphoid fractures are not one of them. That's my recommendation anyway. My name is Huang. I'm a certified hand therapist. I'm located in Miami. If you need my help and you have scaphoid injuries, let me know. I'm going to include my links below. Do all the things like subscribe and leave me comments or questions. It's what helps me to create more videos, and I'll create some other ones that will help you with scaphoid fractures.